Here we go. All right. Well, welcome. We're in our second session. So hello, and we're going to go ahead and get started. And we do have our special guest, Jonathan, here. So I'm just going to do kind of a short introduction to our topic, and then we'll also do a little catch up, just so that Jonathan can be brought into what we talked about last week. And it ties into, I was sharing a little bit with him ahead of time, it ties into what we're going to be talking about today. So just as a little bit of a recap, we talked about last week just the importance of getting to know our inner energy and connecting with our why. So really understanding, why are we speaking in the first place? So never, sharing our voice and our message just to talk. Whether you're having a conversation, or we're going to be standing at the front of the room, or we're in a meeting, whatever the reason it is that we're sharing our message, we need to have a strategy around it, or we need to understand the words that we're using and why that's important in the first place, and selecting the right words. But understanding our why in the first place and connecting that between our heart and our mind is so critical, so that our subconscious is in alignment. So we talked about that, and I know that y'all did some work ahead of time before we even got together around that. So that was kind of critical, and that was the foundation work before we even were going to dive into the program. So we did talk a little bit about that. And then we also went through an exercise last week just around you thinking about the people that you're attracting while you're talking. So who do you want inside your circle or your culture, or who do you want to choose to share your message with? So thinking about those attributes of the people that you want to share your precious message with, your gift, your calling, whatever that looks like for you. And then the flip side of that was those behaviors that you can practice to match up to those attributes, to make sure that you're attracting back the people that you want to share your message with. So the energy that you're sending out is matching up. And along with that, that helps you to think about the words that you're saying, the message that you're sending out, and then also just the whole emotion and feel for the culture that you want to create around you. So all of this, connects into really being aligned fully with ourself and the words, and just the emotions and the vibe, for lack of a better word, that we're sending out and sharing. And if we have all of this in alignment, this becomes more natural for us. And, the reason why I wanted to go into today with all of that behind us was because today is about linking to our audience. So if we can really link our message to our audience, going into it with all of that alignment, when we show up and we have a better understanding of how we're communicating, we can also see how they're communicating back to us. But we have to do some work ahead of time and understand the signals that we're sending out, as well as being able to pick up on the signals that they're pushing back to us. And that's why Jonathan is here, because he is definitely the person that has the knowledge to speak to that, way more knowledge than I do, to be able to share with us about body language, about emotional intelligence, about so many different things around bringing us into a deeper awareness of how critical this skill is, and how important it is to just to be able to communicate. And that subconscious level, having that alignment, makes it more natural, so that it matches up. Because as Jonathan is going to be sharing, we do these things without even realizing it. And I believe that we'll be less likely to do them if we're in alignment and we really are matching up, and we have worked on this inner self and this inner energy. So I definitely want to give Jonathan a introduction that he deserves, because I am so honored to have him here, and I am excited about what he's going to be sharing with us. So Jonathan Choufany, so he is the founder of Humans Decoded Club for communications and public speaking, award-winning coach, TEDx speaker, TV show expert, personality profiler, body language master, and human lie detector. So he helps you understand yourself and people around you, boost your presentation skills, be more emotionally intelligent, detect a lie when you hear one, and extract the truth to sustain your business and social success. He's a TEDx speaker and taught in many local and international NGOs, universities, and companies like MetLife Insurance. In addition, he's done more than 70 TV and radio interviews and currently a regular guest on a TV show assessing politicians and other famous guest body language. So I'm excited to have Jonathan share with us today. And I know that we are going to learn a lot. I'm ready to take lots of notes. So Jonathan, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for this invitation, and greetings to also Lisa Cassanti. Thank you so much for introducing me to Lisa, so that we can have this event right here. So first, I'd like to start with my own experience, with my own story. So why I am now presenting in front of you, because I had challenges in my public speaking skills back 12 years ago, and those challenges gave me the problems that I needed to solve in order to become a speaker, so that I can make my ideas happen eventually. So when I started to do that, is like, first, I'd like to know why I am being so scared of public speaking. And second, how can I make my awareness, like how can I raise my awareness level in order to become a better speaker? So I went on to analyze my own body language, my own emotions, to get also the real feedback from others, their own emotional expressions and so on. And later on, I was interested in personality profiling, lie detection, and other interesting topics in communication skills, so that I can become the speaker who inspires. And now I go on TV, and this is the ultimate test of my abilities, because I need first to assess the politician's body language throughout 1 hour and a half, let's say, and taking notes and everything, and later on to go and actually record this segment with this politician or this famous guest. So it's like communication skills test, public speaking test, and recognition, emotional recognition test. And fortunately, I've been, we are now in the second season of the show, and it's been great, because they are famous people, and sometimes politicians, they have like a lot of bodyguards in the parking lot. So I should be very, very careful with what I say, maintaining the truth while saying it in a polite way, so that they can receive it and not to be judgmental and so on. So it's been great, and now I will go on to share with you some of the insights that I have, and I hope you can see my screen. So, okay, so I don't know, is it like, okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so great. Great. So here you can see some of my experience on TV. You can see right here my TEDx speech, one in the UNESCO Palace I did on radio stations and other TV stations, on Lebanese stations, and also Gulf stations. A lot of workshops and trainees in Lebanon and also online. It's been great. And this is the workshop for MetLife Insurance. This is in front of more than 200 people. And this is also something I really like is that, and I mentioned that in my TEDx speech, is what Mr. Peter Drucker said. The most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. And what isn't said is like from their body language. It is said from the silent language, the language of the body, the language of the subconscious mind, which is like, and this is something that I really appreciate because, and Lisa was talking about this, to be in tune with our reality, our own beliefs, and everything that we have in our lives. So if I am being honest, if I am embodying the person that I should be embodying, a good person, it will be like my face will be shining, everything will be good, and I am in harmony with myself. And actual words that I am saying are making me more powerful. And this is something really important. If you think that the words that you are saying are not making you more powerful, are making you less powerful or weaker, there is something wrong with it. So you have to go through what you are saying in order to give the best out of your communication. And I can add to this quote something related to how can I communicate back to the other person, having this understanding in mind, especially the personality profiling understanding, to knowing why the person is actually saying those words and why they are having this type of reaction. So yeah, nonverbal communications, the communications without words, from our facial expressions, hand expressions, and everything in our body, the orientation that we have, also our voices, because some voices are so attractive. And I will share more insights about some exercises that you can do in order to beautify your voice and to classify your communication style. Having this knowledge in mind, you can work on your own body language first, having this image. So if you envision yourself in, let's say, in 1 month from now or in 1 year from now, what's the image that you have, as in body language, as in facial expressions, how you are touching others, your sound, how you like your sound to become or to be expressing, which emotions that you want your voice to be expressing. Also space management, which will indicate how much dominance you will have on the situation. So working on mainly 3 pillars when you want to express your thoughts in a presentation, it's really important to first tell people about your ethos, your credibility, and why they want to go and invest time with you, and why you are the person who is going to benefit them. And this is really important to talk about your credibility, your story, because the story is the second pillar, because it is emotional. And this is the pathos pillar. And the third one is the logos, or the logical part. So you will be communicating with the logical part. And this is something really important in order, because some people are more logical and some people are more emotional. And some people, they like to know who is talking so that they can actually listen. So when you have all those pillars in mind and you embed them in your presentation, you will be doing a great job, especially because you know that you're doing good because everything is under, it's actually under control, and you know through which structure you need to operate in order to do a good job. So that said, our nonverbal communications go, sometimes you use them to reinforce what you are saying. And sometimes it's like, instead of saying your words, you can say hi or bye non-verbally by just waving your hand. The negative thing, or the thing that is challenging, is when your subconscious mind actually contradicts what you are saying with your words, with your logical mind, which is something really frustrating when it comes to presenting in public. So let's say you are saying, yeah, I like my job, but at the same time, there is a micro expression or macro expression of sadness on your face. So people won't get the good part in your speech. They will believe your nonverbal speech. They will believe your nonverbal act. So sometimes you need to accentuate your own message so that it will come across as convincing. And at the same time, it should be truthful. So, so it's really important to be authentic with your own self, not to engage in self-deception first, and then not to be deceiving others. And sometimes we regulate the meeting by our body language. So if you look at somebody, or you nod your head to start speaking, so that, or somebody who, like, giving you this gesture is like giving you an invisible microphone with their hands, signaling that, yeah, it's your turn to speak. So having those aspects in mind will enable you to reach out to people, and just to put yourself in their shoes, and to know, okay, which story is more credible, or which story is more engaging, and why should I say the things that I am saying right now? If I am convinced, then I will go with that. If my subconscious mind is saying, oh, no, 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 there's something wrong there with this, a gut feeling, something that you felt in your heart, so you might want to reconsider. Given that also the verbal and nonverbal communications differ in multiple ways. So because nonverbal communications are in multiple channels, in body language, voice, clothes, ornaments, everything. Whether the other hand, the verbal communication are like a single, because they are just words and they are intermittent. And whereas the nonverbal communications are continuous, even though if I am right now not moving anything, I am communicating with you non-verbally with my clothes and my breath rate. And nobody is actually having a poker face, because there are always subconscious leakages from our facial microexpressions and facial and the bodily micro gestures. So if somebody tells you that, yeah, you have a poker face, it's like, yeah, according to a certain type of poker players, but we are always giving information as in leakages. And because nonverbal communications are ambiguous to most of people, it's really important to learn about them more and more. And yeah, to clarify that ambiguity, you need to get more in depth of your own body language, and maybe see some role models of how they operate, and to figure out for yourself your body language code, and how you can enhance that database in order to reach more people, especially visual and auditory people. And yeah, most of the things that we analyze are things that are conscious, but the subconscious part is like way deeper than our level of understanding. We can begin to understand by analyzing body language and other expressions. As Alan and Barbara Pease said, that modern humans are worse at reading body language signals because we are now more focused on our words. What should I say? And not focusing on how should I say the things that I am saying, which is really way more important than just words. And if we want to begin to interpret body language, it's really essential to have those four criteria in mind. First, to calibrate the normal behavior of the individual or of an audience for that matter. Also, the context matters, because if I am cold and I am crossing my arms, as I am interpreting this situation, I should get that into consideration, that the person is feeling cold, and this is why they are crossing their arms. The culture of the individual also plays a big role, because in some areas in the world, this is yes for them, and as like in USA, multiple area here in Lebanon, it's like this is yes, this is no, and this is no. So also cultural differences play a big role. And our fourth accurate criteria are combinations. We don't rely just on one single signal. So we rely on a cluster of signs given by our subconscious mind, as in voice, body language, and other nonverbal cues. So now I go to analyze. Okay, so now I'm going to analyze a video of Mr. Dhananjaya Hattiarachchi, the world champion, in 2014. And together need to extract some positive elements of his talk. And now I hope the screen is shared so that we go. Oops, I need to share with sound. Let's do it again with sound. Okay. So sharing Mr. Dhananjaya's speech right now, please focus on his body language and how can we extract positive elements. So
Dhananjaya Hattiarachchi, I see something. I see something. Dhananjaya Hattiarachchi.
okay, so here, as you can see, getting out to the stage with a high energy walk. So here he is grabbing the person's hand and pulling it into his safe zone, as well as putting his left hand on the person's elbow. And this is also related to empathy, as well as because of the tightness of the handshake, it is also related to dominance. And so he wants to dominate this situation. As you can see, this person is trying to get out of the situation, and Mr. Dhananjaya is trying to keep him where he is. This is the positive thing related to smile. So you need to be smiling and having this shiny face when you go to speak on a stage or even on Zoom. So your face should be shining. It's as if your eyes are also shining light. And as you can see, this is really important for him and also for the audience.
You and I are not very different from this flower. Just like this flower is unique, you are unique. All of us has something special that makes us as beautiful. Do you know what makes you special?
Okay, so pausing here, a great use of visual aid. So it's a 3D object, it's a flower, and he he is like he is now putting the person in front of his mind, because the flower now represents the person and he begins with you and I. So he begins with the audience, which is a good thing as well. If you keep your audience in mind, they will appreciate it. And yeah, this is something really important, especially because he took a breath and he smelled the rose or the flower, and this will have us remember as audience of the last time we smelled a rose or a good smell. So this is also for kinesthetic people. It will work very well.
Now, the answer to that can be a little difficult to find because sometimes life has a cruel way of picking out your petals, breaking you in two, and throwing you into the trash. And when you're broken, it's very difficult to feel special. Mr. Contest Chair, my fellow flowers, I can remember the first time I broke. I was 17 years old. I had already flunked high school and managed to get myself arrested. Now, I wasn't afraid of the cops, but there
Okay, so here, as you saw, he did it's like the Superman pose, which indicates that he really wasn't afraid of the cops. So he didn't say it just like that. I wasn't afraid of the cops, and shook his head left and right. No, he went to put his hands on his hip, and as a result, he was reinforcing his message with his body language.
there was one person I was very afraid of, and that was my mama. Raise your hand if you have an emotional mother. Let me see. Put them all together, you get mama.
Okay, so here you can see the humor that he is using in a nice way. So first he said, You are my fellow flowers," and then he said, "Okay, I want you to engage with me. Raise your hand." So this is not a one-way lecture. It is like a two ways street communication. And I need to know your opinion as well by raising your hand.
I can hear her scream outside the police station. Even the cops were afraid.
Okay, as you can see, he did that anxious stance, and he flexed his knees, and he is like in the fetus position, which indicates that he wants more security because he is afraid.
She came up to me, held the iron bars, looked into my eyes, and I saw a tear coming down her face. Now, I've seen my mama cry before, but mothers cry 3 types of tears. Tears of joy, tears of sorrow, and tears of shame. And when a son sees a mother cry tears of shame, that's a life-changing moment. She looked at me and said, "Son, I want you to be a better man. That night, when I drove home,
Okay, did you notice the enthusiasm in his voice? So first, when he said about a tear, I saw a tear. So it was like an indication of sadness. And when I want to speak about sadness, I am not usually enthusiastic about sadness. I am introspecting. I am being down. I am being sad. So his expression with his voice was really appropriate for that occasion.
my dad was waiting for me at home. Now, my dad is a cool dad. Raise your hand if you have a cool dad. Put them all together, you get my dad. My dad came up to me and said, son, it's okay. You flunked your exams. You already got arrested. That's fine. You get that from your mother's side. I want you to start working immediately. And I said, okay. So my dad took me to meet one of his friends.
Okay, did you notice when he said okay, he made his voice pitch higher, which indicates a more anxious and a more uncertain person, because when I am anxious, when I am afraid, my vocal cords will be more stressed and the voice pitch as a result will become higher, which is the opposite of what you expect from a man. So now he is, because he is like a teenager and he doesn't to do. And now let's see what happens next.
Called Sam. Now, Sam was an accountant who had an accounting firm and had generously decided to make me his personal assistant.
So as you noticed here, he made fun of the idea of generously decided. So it wasn't like generosity from Mr. Sam's side. It was because the father of Dhananjaya told him to make him his personal assistant.
To make me his personal assistant. And there he was. He looked like a teddy bear. But this man was special.
Look at the dramatic pause here. He just paused and grabbed all the attention after making them laugh.
I looked at him and he looked at me. And then he said the most amazing thing. He said, son, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. If you decide to work with me, I can help you find that something. And I was like, whoa, that's the first time in my whole life somebody has ever told they see something in me.
Did you see the level of enthusiasm that he's acting right now? So he is getting back in time and embodying again his like a 17 years old version. And he was like doing like movements contradictory like to the gravity, so defying gravity, which indicates that he is really enthusiastic and happy about what the other person had to say.
And I started working for Sam. And every day after work, he used to tell me stories about the world, about history, about culture, about philosophy. And it was much more interesting than what I learned in school. And I discovered I can dream. And I started dreaming, ladies and gentlemen. After 1 year, I went back into high school, completed my exams, and went into college. After successfully completing college, I found a great girl, but not a job.
Okay, so here he's saying that I found a great girl, not a job. He is still like his feet are really close to each other, which indicates also anxiety, and the person is like a subordinate. He's not dominant. He's not in a dominant stance or in a confident stance.
I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Have you ever had that problem? And when you're lost, it's difficult to feel special. So I went back to my cool dad. And I said, Dad, I feel lost. He said, you are like your mother. So my dad introduced me to this strange club that had a strange name, with strange people talking. On the first meeting, they told me to do something called a table topic. I aced it. But while I was speaking, I see a strange man seated in the back row, humble, simple, the unfailing quality of kindness in his eyes. As soon as I finished, he walked up to me, looked me dead straight in the eye, and said, son, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. If you come here twice a month, maybe we can find that something. And ladies and gentlemen, I discovered I could speak, and I love speaking. And that led me to become a teacher. I know what it's like to not have enough money in your bank account. I know what it's like to worry when the bills start coming in. And sometimes, in the middle of the night, I wake up my beautiful wife and I ask her, honey, why did you marry me? She says, I saw something in you. But I still don't know what it is.
Okay, so here the story continues, and he's always relating to the title of his speech, which is like a reminder for them. It's not just the visual reminder of the flower, it's now the auditory reminder of I see something.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm a dreamer, I'm a speaker, and I learned the unfailing quality of unconditional love from my wife. I was broken, and I've been broken, lost, and broke many times in my life. But the people in my life were able to reach into the trash can and make me whole again. If it was up to me, I would have never been able to do that. And this is why if you have great people in your life, no matter how broke, how lost, or how broken you become, they can piece you back together. Ladies and gentlemen, when I look at you, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. Over to you.
Okay, so it was quite a speech. You can tell, because this is like this is a masterpiece. He's mastered his voice. He's mastered his everything is calculated. His gestures are like calculated, and at the same time they are natural. He isn't like robotic or anything like that. He is just giving the audience the time of their lives, because the few people can do that, especially with the flower. He threw the flower to the audience, and it was quite an experience. So I encourage you to consider the elements that we just saw in this video, because you can tailor your speech according to the concepts that we saw. So yeah, it's like the importance of body language is really great, because it's like more than 90% of our communications. And sometimes we have like the discrepancies between what we need to say and what we actually say with our words and body language. So it's really important to speak our minds and to really say the truth with with the best polite way possible. And we need to avoid those misunderstandings, so that it's essential to know the body language and voice tone. Uh, so analyzing your audience is a really important job to know how can you do better when it comes to the now, the here and now, and later on. So it's tactical and strategic at the same time. So if you have people who are combative, fugitive, reflective, or responsive, you need to know how to communicate with those people, whether it was in your speaking to your prospect or speaking to a group of people. If you have this type, now I will show you the 4 basic modes of body language, so you can analyze the body language of others accordingly. So first we have on the first quadrant the collaborative, forward and open body language, which is like the ultimate thing that you want for your communication. The other quadrant here is like people are open to your ideas, but they are not so engaged and they are not so into it. So it's really important to know what will make them decide to go with your offer, or to know how they can collaborate with you with the like tangible action steps. It's not just about ideas, it's how to make the ideas work. So yeah, this is leaning backwards. Sometimes you have this type, the fugitive type in your audience, which is not like the best type that you want. But this type is really important because it gives you the feedback that this person is not even interested in the topic, or they are not interested maybe in the solution that I am providing. So it's really important to ask them about their preferred topic, or if they have another idea or other ideas to share, so that we can know what's really interesting for them. We have in the 4th quadrant, as you can see, the person or the lady here is leaning forward. At the same time, she is closing her arms and putting the left hand in front of her mouth, which is like she has a negative evaluation, and she's not telling you because she might want to be polite and she doesn't want to hurt you. It's really important to ask further questions, follow-up questions, in order to know what's on this lady's mind, in order to adjust my presentation accordingly. So yeah, as for the reflective type, they might want more time to think and decide. If you are in front of a prospect and presenting in front of a prospect, if you want people to be responsive and they are now responsive, it's really important to get that agreement, because you've reached a certain point, especially if you are in the last part of your presentation. The fugitive type, it's really important to spark their interest or to know what's interesting for them. The combative part or type, it's essential to avoid contradictions with them and not to argue with them, but to take the 10% out, the positive 10% out of their speech, and highlight that. So thank you, sir, for speaking your mind. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for, I appreciate that you have your client's best interest in mind. So it's not about me, so I don't take it personally. It's about them. It's about their choices and their perspective. If I need to become like somebody who, the best communicator, the best version of myself in this area. So at this point, I like to ask you if you have any questions If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Lisa, do you have anything until now?
Oh, I just got so much out. I've got tons of notes over here. So I don't know if the other Lisa has questions. I think she went off camera, so she might be doing something with her daughter. But one of my questions that I have, because I always like to speak to how to keep our audience or whomever we're speaking to interested. And you were just showing in there about the fugitive and the different areas. And you said something that resonated with me about sparking their interest. And one of the things that I like to make sure whenever I'm speaking to someone or going through anything is ahead of time, what's going to keep their interest, piquing their interest right from the very beginning, and then what's going to keep their interest throughout. We just watched a great example, of course, of a speech, and he was pulling them in the whole entire time. But when you're talking to people, what do you share with them as far as knowing your audience and making sure that you go into the room with the right information on being able to keep their attention that entire time?
Exactly. So as we said, speaking to their mind, speaking to their emotional part, and telling them why they need actually to listen to me because I'm a professional, it will be great. Also, speaking from the consultant perspective and not the salesperson perspective. So I am not selling them anything. I am telling them, so you can do this, you can do that, and this is the positive part of it, and this part you can have both. So I'm not trying to like convince them as as more to consult them, and keeping that interest, in my opinion, is with your energy. If you can know what to say and how you say it, it will be really great. And yeah, it's like we saw Mr. Dhananjaya having like a structure from one story to another, and he is making sense of why we are going from this part to that part. It is making sense because it is like in chronological order, and this is his own story, which makes it emotional from the very beginning to the very end. And it is, the ethos is there because he is now the speaker and the successful person that he is encouraging them to become in the future. So there is hope, because he was like in jail and now he's the world champion. So yeah, there is hope for for everyone out there to
Everyone.
become a great speaker. And as I said, I had myself a tons of challenges in my public speaking and communications in general. And just the decision of making myself more aware of others and being attentive and actually caring about others, that gave me the perception, or the it's like a shift in perception. It's not about me and people are judging me, so that I have this self-judgment going on in my head and making me like anxious and fearful what they are going to say, and what if this, what if that. And these are all uh, understandable fears. These are natural fears. At the same time, we need to work with those fears and just use this fear to make yourself more ready, to listen more, to understand more. So I like to use this kind of negative emotions in order to push me forward, because I don't want to be where I am right now. Let's say tomorrow I want to become a better man tomorrow. So, and the only thing I can do is to work on myself. to acquire more understanding. And public speaking is like, without public speaking, if I had the best idea in the world, without communicating to the right people and selling my skills the right way, people won't care much. Yeah, you know. So yeah, that's any other comments or like suggestions?
Jonathan, I do have some questions, although
Yes,
I just need a second for my daughter. I'm sorry. I will be
oh,
right
yeah,
back.
sure.
But
Okay. Okay.
you know that
I love you.
Hello.
Brianna
We
just
love
said
you
she
too.
said she loves you. Is that Uncle Jonathan and Aunt Lisa?
Hello, she's so adorable.
Hello.
You can say hi.
God bless her.
Mommy taking a class so she can. Oh, what are you doing? Where are you going? She's looking behind her. She's hiding now. So we go through a lot of wardrobe changes.
Mommy said we gotta go loud.
Yes, I couldn't have the words. Mommy's tongue got tied up. Okay, there you go. Okay, mommy will be out in a bit. So
Okay, bye.
Hi. Oh, she's so
So-
precious.
thank you. So I guess, Jonathan, I'm so sorry for the background noise. But I think one of the things that is so challenging for me, so you talk about body language, micro expressions, all of these things. And I feel that when I'm sharing my story with an audience, say I'm doing a presentation and I'm talking about what drew me into the work that I'm doing and all of that, this is a truthful story. This is what made me change what I'm doing. I'm an entrepreneur because of these experiences. So I feel that all of that should come off as authentic and genuine because it's absolutely true. But however, because of anxiety when I do speak, that is going to show up in my body language. So I feel like there's so much to think about when you're publicly speaking. And sometimes I think that you talked about deliberately choosing the words. So sometimes just the way that I speak, I'm a little bit slower because I'm deliberately choosing the words. But again, the body language and all of that is more for me. It's subconscious. I'm not really thinking about it. So I guess my question to you is, what are some tips and things that you can think of that will help us in body language or any of that to help connect with the audience more? I mean, I think about how should I be presented even in the Zoom screen? And should they see my hands? Should I have open arms? All of these things. I have a genuine story and I want it to come off as genuine, but I have the anxiety about telling the story. So any suggestions?
Sure. That's a great question, because now we are going to discuss some exercises related to anxiety and how we are not fighting anxiety, we are just getting you calmer. And I have some grounding exercises that I benefited from, especially when I focus on my current senses, which are like the visual sense, the auditory, the kinesthetic, and also the smell and the breath. And this is something really important. If I just rub two fingertips on each other in such a way, I am focusing on my current sense. So, and I am taking a deep breath at the same time, imagining that the wind or the air that is flowing into my lungs is actually white, and let's say the negative, anxious thoughts or emotions are on like small black dots on my lungs, and the white air is getting everything washed up and getting it out slowly. Yeah, it's a great technique that I benefited from. So if you want, we can do it right now, and just we can close our eyes, take a deep breath, imagining the air is white and getting it through my lungs, imagining the negative experiences that I had in my day, like small black dots on my lungs, and this white air is just getting it out from my mouth. So as I am exhaling all the negative emotions and I am inhaling positive and positive emotions and pleasant feelings and all the positivity that I can gather from this white air. So filling my lungs with positivity and exhaling negativity. Notice the temperature of air that is getting into your nostrils and the temperature of air that is getting out of your nostrils or your mouth. So it's really important to get this grounding exercise happening before you speak, before you present. And this will give you like a sense of, I am grounded right now. So, and the more you do this exercise, the more you'll feel that you can do it like even better. And you can go to this relaxed state in an easier way and in a more deeper way. Another exercise is like wiggle your toes so that you feel your toes on the ground. And this is also a type of grounding technique, just to remind yourself that, yes, this is the now. I'm not anxious about the future. I am in the now. And another exercise visually is like to focus on just one item in front of me and consider the texture of this item, consider the details that I missed earlier on, just because I was so unfocused about everything. But if I just relax and I just see things in great detail, I will begin to get the sense of the here and now, which will empower my self-command muscle. And eventually I will be in a deeper state, in a relaxed state, and this state is the ultimate one to present to other people. And as you can tell, my voice tone is now a bit deeper because of the exercise that we did. I usually do voice exercises for the resonance, and because I go to a voice coach once a week, and I do the exercises every day. And I will share one exercise that will project your voice in a better way. So I will go, and if you have a pen or a pencil would be better. I will sterilize this pen because I will be putting it in between my teeth, so I don't want any germs to go in there. Okay, so I cleaned this pen, and now I will wipe it with a tissue so that I don't swallow the cream. Okay, so imagine that your voice is projected under this pen. Okay, so without stressing on the pen, so it's just a hold. Okay, so first we are going to do two exercises. The first exercise is the wrong way of projecting my voice, and the second one is the right way to project my voice in order to release the tension from my vocal cords and get that resonance going on from this area. So the first exercise is under the pen. So my projection is under the pen. So it's like vocalizing from here, from my throat, which is the wrong way of projecting my voice. And we are just doing this exercise to know what's wrong and what's right. So after that, to know the difference between the two, I am now doing the positive one, like ah, so the second one, you can see that it is like over the pen. It's like projected forward from this part of my face. So we can do it once again. Uh, ah, it's like a bridge or a projection from here, my voice from here, and you can choose like a point or a location, like the camera, let's say. And this, in this way, you can have this visualization and train your subconscious mind to project your voice forward, which will give you like a better expression with your voice. And yeah, when it comes to Zoom meetings, it's really important to have your eyes on the camera level. Um, Simulating it's as if you are sitting in front of the person. So I am not so far, and I'm not too close. So somewhere in between will be good. Having some plants in the background would help as well, because this is a sign of life. I have a life in my room. Maybe a piece of art or something like that, representing some sort of deeper meaning in life, which will also project something related to my ability to think and conceptualize things and so on. So yeah, these ideas will help. I hope that was beneficial for you, Lisa. I like to welcome also Kristen Murray. So welcome, Kristen. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Hi, call me Kiki.
Hello, hello, hello. Do you have any questions related to public speaking or body language?
No, I'm sorry, I jumped in late.
Okay, no worries. You're welcome. You're welcome. Great. So we were talking, Kristen, before you entered, about our voice and how we can project our voice the best way possible in order to project more emotions and actually have these fluctuations going on. And as you saw, Mr. Dhananjaya, he was really mastering his voice, getting up and down this voice, and volume up, volume down, pitch up, pitch down. And I will give you like an exercise for that as well. If you imagine yourself on a bike, like a Harley Davidson bike, okay, and you say, it's like hitting that high note and then getting lower and lower the notes. So your voice will become more flexible. And it's like a safe exercise. You won't be hurting your vocal cords. Everything will be good. Another exercise will give you relaxation in your facial muscles and help you is called the yawning exercise, which is which goes like this. So now everyone will go to sleep after this exercise. So what I am doing right now is I am relaxing all the muscles in my face, as well as training my brain to get my high notes and low notes. For men, low notes are really important to get that masculinity. It doesn't have to be exaggerated like this. If I talk like this, you will think that I have something problem in my head. And if I talk in a very thin voice, you will think that I am really anxious and I'm talking like a little girl. So something in between will be good. And as you can see, when I hit a certain note, my facial expressions and body language will follow. So it's as if I am embodying a wise person when I'm talking with a deep voice, which you can also notice with the news anchors. You can see that they are really serious and they are talking with deep voices and so yeah, these exercises are really important to get you going when it comes to public speaking. You will be more confident, because how we can fight anxiety? It's like we don't fight anxiety, we just get better at collecting information, doing our exercises, and being actually ready. So the anxiety will vanish automatically, because anxiety is like helplessness and uncertainty. If we have certainty over our voices, our body language, the amount of anxiety will be far less. So getting back to another example, and this time we have the example of Mr. Danlock, and I want you please to consider his body language. It's just 12 seconds. Imagine 12 seconds. I want you to assess what you are saying, and we will extract concepts from what we are now seeing.
Through each skill, I want you to ask yourself the question and comment below and rate yourself from a 0 to 10. 0 being like absolutely horrible, like you suck, and 10 being world class.
Okay, so I want you to share your thoughts on what we just saw. If you want, I can replay it once again. But Kristen, do you have any thoughts to share?
He was really aggressive. Like
Okay.
incredibly aggressive. Like I kind of got taken aback a little bit.
Yeah, indeed. Lisa, do you have anything to share?
I also did feel the aggression as well, but I did want to ask you to replay it.
Yes, sure. I will replay it once again.
Go through each skill. I want you to ask yourself the question and comment below and rate yourself from a 0 to 10. 0 being like absolutely horrible, like you suck, and 10 being world class.
Okay, so any comments?
You know what I found interesting was when he said "you suck," he smirked.
Exactly. Yeah, he smiled. Yeah, indeed. Which is because they are his followers. So why laugh at him or at them? For that matter, he's supposed to like encourage them, and not saying that yeah, you suck with a smile. So it's not a polite thing. When it comes to nonverbal, Lisa, do you have anything to share?
I noticed that he was kind of like his eyebrow went up at some point. Like there was a little micro expression on him. I'm not quite sure what that means, but that happened in there. And I almost feel like when he was saying world class, like he was doubting that, but that was kind of what I was feeling when he said 0, but I could be wrong. And then when he said 10 world class, like I felt like he was like doubting that. There was some doubt in there.
Indeed. We will go through that, because what you felt is actually true. And I will say why from the body language perspective in a moment. First, when we assess and we analyze his clothes, it's like, what do you think about his clothes here?
he's wearing a t-shirt under a jacket. So I don't get that. That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. You took on, you took the time to put a jacket over just a plain white t-shirt. That's bizarre to me.
Yeah, Kristen?
I was going to point out the same thing. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a t-shirt. It shouldn't be a t-shirt, but I'm pretty sure that's a t-shirt. It kind of reminds me of like a senior high kid who's just like getting dressed up enough that like his parents aren't going to yell at him.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. As you can see here, it's not like a long sleeve. It's like a t-shirt indeed, and the jacket is closed. And if I want others to perceive me as an open person, I will have my jacket opened. Also, the orientation of his body is not not actually facing the audience. Is just giving the audience his head, and all his body is oriented elsewhere. We have also something related to a closed body position when it comes to his hands, and the orientation, the body orientation, is actually dictating where he wants to put his hands.
Go through each skill.
So this is the default position: closed hands, closed jacket, a t-shirt under the jacket. So it's although it might be so expensive, but it's not appropriate like in combination. So as you can see here, it's like it's not smooth, and it's like having those bumps here.
I want you to ask yourself the question and
Yeah,
comment.
and this is the highlight of the video when I want to communicate with my fans, with the people who trusted me and subscribe to my channel. And I am talking like a tyrant here to comment below, or else. It's like the angry look, and look at the frowning, and so it's not an appropriate way to talk to an audience, although some people, they like this, but it's not a recommended thing to say or do.
Comment below and rate yourself from a 0 to 10.
Okay, so here 0, it's better like if he said, this is 0 and this is 10. But this is 0 and this is 10 won't give the good impression that he wants. So this is 0, this is 10. Okay.
0 being like absolutely horrible, like you suck.
Okay, so now we see his smile when he said, no, absolutely horrible, you suck.
And 10 being world class.
So now when he said world class, his right eyebrow went a bit higher, which indicates like disbelief. And so he doesn't believe himself. So we won't believe him. So it's just not this thing that will makes the person world class. Multiple things at once. Okay. So once again,
each skill, I want you to ask yourself the question and comment below and rate yourself from a 0 to 10. 0 being like absolutely horrible, like you suck, and 10 being world class.
Okay, so enough with this example. As you saw, it's like we can avoid some types of things because this type is like, he might not be the arrogant type, but for sure he is signaling for others now in this video that he is an arrogant person. And I've seen other videos for him. He's not an arrogant person, but he is displaying the hero, that he is the hero and everything is under control, and he is like the guru of sales and so on. So it's really important to respect others while communicating, because people also, everybody has like self-respect, and if somebody doesn't have a lot of respect to themselves, they might accept this type of communication, but it's not a healthy way of communicating. So yeah, it's also good to see what to avoid and what not to agree with. Okay, so getting back to our paralanguage with our pitch, volume, voice quality. So if my voice quality is damaged and I didn't sleep well the night before, it might affect my presentation. So time management is a crucial skill in my presentation, because I should sleep earlier the night before, so my mind will be clear. And also there is something really important now I've remembered about memory techniques. And the memory techniques are really crucial in my presentation, because if I forgot anything because of stress, because of this self-judgment that I am putting like a voice in my head, judging myself and wondering how others are seeing me, and noticing that it's about me and not about them, I will forget, because I will be emotionally hijacked by my own thoughts, by my own emotions, and this is not something good. So memorizing what I want to say using a memory technique will be beneficial. One memory technique that I found beneficial is the following one. So are you ready? So if I want to remember a word, it's like the ultimate tip for memorizing is the acronym TIP, T-I-P, which stands for turn into picture. So I turn the word into a picture. And when I turn the word, let's say Jonathan, into a picture, I will picture myself. So this is me, I know myself. So if I want to memorize the word, another word, let's say, give me a word and we can turn it into a picture. Something that you want to memorize.
Something that I want to memorize. And are you speaking about like a difficult word, something that we might forget? Like how
Yeah.
to pronounce someone's name. Okay, for example, the person that was a 2014 world champion in public speaking, Dananjay, I can't remember how to say his name. So how would you turn that into a picture?
Yeah, sure. So Dhananjay Hetiarachi, you can memorize his name with like bits of information. So Dhananjaya is like the J in his word in the middle of his first name. You can relate it to somebody you know with the name of J. And Dan, you can know somebody with the name of Dan. So Dan and Jaya. So it's like one word. It's like combining those two people will be beneficial to remember Mr. Dharanjaya's name. So this is one of the memory techniques. And after you do that, you can use your own body as a memory folder. So the first, let's say, the first place is the top of your head. So it's like you are putting or sticking this bit of information that you turn into picture on the top of your head. And later on, you can put another information on the top of your nose, on the top of your mouth, on your ears, which stand for your sense of hearing, the sense of smelling, and the sense of scenting the food. And yeah, you can put something on your shoulder, your elbows, your fingertips, and it has to be also related to something funny. So the funnier and unusual, unexpected, you will memorize it more. If it's logical, the chances are you won't be grasping. It's because it's like The glue are the emotions for you to remember the name, let's say. So who's Dan? Who's Mr. Dan? Lisa, do you know somebody whose name is Dan?
I do.
Okay,
I
so
do.
who's Jay? Do you have a picture of Jay?
I do.
Great. So imagine Dan is, let's say, dancing with Jay and telling Jay, okay, Jay, do you want to dance? Okay, so Dan and Jay. So you can memorize it this way and make it funny. And the funnier you, and also you can teach this to your daughter. You can play with this exercise because she can also remember a lot of information using this technique to turn into picture. The ultimate memory tip: turn into picture. So so yeah, for public speakers, it's like the something really important, because they will have the confidence that they will remember, because they turn the information, the words, into picture. So you don't forget faces, you forget words and names. So yeah, you say that, yeah, I recognize this face, but what's his name? So it's not the other way around. I recognize his name, but I don't recognize his face. So we always recognize faces because we are more visual, and we think by also visualizing things more than words, as in alphabets. So this is a really important tip for public speakers, just to memorize a lot of information, and they just want sometimes the first word, and after that they can go to explain everything. So it doesn't have to be a lot of work to anchor everything on my body or in the room that I am presenting in. It's just about bullet points, so that I can be comfortable in my own skin. It's not about repetition, it's about gluing the information in my head using funny uh, associations. And this will ensure that I'm doing a good job remembering that. So yeah, we talked about resonance, and we can also talk about how fast am I going. If I want to make sure that I am giving you the best experience, sometimes I will go faster when the information is less important. And I will go slower when the information is really, really important. And now, as you might as you might notice, here I lowered my volume. So the volume is like I am telling you now a secret. And this is how we communicate secrets. We don't shout secrets. It's like really intimate, just between us. So if I want to highlight a point or to highlight something, it's really important to know how to say the things that I want to highlight. Great. And other paralanguage sounds are like, we make sure everything here is in tune. We don't want to sound whiny while we are presenting. And the feedback here is really important, because sometimes you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. So feedback is crucial. And somebody says feedback is the breakfast of champions. So we go to get more feedback from many people, because it's like we want to make sure that introverted people are enjoying our lecture, extroverted people are enjoying our lecture, auditory people are enjoying, visual, kinesthetic, everyone. So I don't want to highlight or to be perceived as like it's just going in one direction. I am getting everyone on board. I am engaging everybody. And this is where I need to adopt my responsibility of working on myself and enhancing and upgrading my skills in order to do that. So yeah, getting into ums and ahs, it's like important, and at the same time we go they just go unnoticed by us. It's really important to just stop without saying the ums and ahs. It's better to stop and not say anything. And this is something that I was really working on when I did my TEDx speech, just to recognize that ums, ahs, are out of the story. So yeah, sometimes people are perceived more intelligent when they speak faster. The downside is that they will be perceived as in a rush, and they just are biting some words or some phrases or some elements. Great. So any questions until now? All good? Makes sense? Okay, great. So an exercise also for public speakers is to prepare a 2-minute conversation using the types of multiple types of gestures in order to be familiar, like Mr. Dhananjaya that we saw. So if we can do that with somebody we trust, we can have a feedback, an actual feedback. When you said that non-verbally, I didn't understand it. So maybe it's better to enhance it. And yeah, I did that as well. So, but this was good when you talked about the globe or something related to if I do this, like 2 parts, and now I am putting like it's like a bridge between the two. So people will notice that I am reinforcing my speech. So yeah, silence as well. We can give people the privilege of the information will be sinking in so that I won't be rushing them. So time to think. Sometimes it's a weapon to hurt others. You've certainly heard of the silent treatment that some people give to others just to make them feel more guilty about some things that they did. Sometimes it's accepted and expected by society to remain silent around strangers. Of course, as public speakers, we have to sometimes give this moment to the audience in order for them to speak, sometimes to engage. Sometimes we can communicate emotional responses, as in positive or negative. Children or some other people will pout like this. The lower lip will be going upwards, which is like, if I do that, I will feel sadness. If I do like a smile, I will begin to feel happy. And this is something really important before I go to deliver a speech, to just smile and relax and take a deep breath and open my chest and to just have a neutral stance and not to be like hiding or anxious or angry. Great. And knowing where to go and knowing my boundaries, like in proxemics, will give me the awareness not to be in other people's territory, and just to remain in my own territory. If I want to shake hands, it's like neutral, and I don't go to grab the other person's hand and get them into my territory. We don't have to worry about that. We are in the COVID era now. We don't shake hands. But at some point in the future, I hope it's near, I hope we get back to normal. We forgot about normal for some time, yeah? We just need this is the new normal, what we are living right now. Anyway, so being part, the nonverbal aspect is a big part of our first impression, because it's not just about our face and expressions, facial expressions, it's also about my hair, about my clothes, it's about my breath rate, it's about how am I walking, from which culture I am. If I am seeing the person in a crowd, so there is like this person and 99 other people, it's like the effect is minimized to 1%. If I am seeing just one person, I will be collecting a lot of data about him, and the impression will be great. So if it's positive, between 5 to 15 seconds, I will judge this person accordingly without even noticing. From my subconscious mind, I will do everything. My brain will do everything to see if this person is a trustworthy person. Can I trust this person? Can I collaborate with this person? Or there is something off and I had this gut feeling that something is not right. If I had this gut feeling, I might go to investigate why I had this, to replay what's been going on afterwards, to see why I had this, because it's really important to analyze it. Great. So having a good posture as well helps, because if I want to tell people that I am confident, I won't be going and presenting that, did you notice that I am a confident speaker? Nobody says that, right? It's just when I have a good posture and I am respecting myself, so you can see that in my posture. I don't go to say, yeah, I am a professional person. Yeah, I am the best in what I do. No, I go and show you the best of my version. And from that, you can deduce everything. So yeah, being nice also is not just with words, or with what we are also wordlessly saying. Gauge audience is really important, because if we need to to lower our gaze downward, it will go that we have other intentions for people. This is the intimate gaze. So it's not appropriate to look like, especially to women, and with the intimate gaze. It's important to just stick to the face, or even the area between the eyes, the business gaze, the social gaze, maybe if we are getting to know them a bit deeper. Handshake, sometimes it gives you the impression that this person is feeling superior because they are having this dominant handshake, or they are submissive because they are giving me this submissive handshake. So it's really important to have the equal handshake, because we don't want to have this tyrant slave relationship. We just want to have a collaborative and two people on the same level. We don't want anomalies with our relationships. And here's one quote that I really like, that when the eyes say one thing and the tongue another, a practiced man relies on the language of the first. And I believe that we are all believing in that, because if I say, yeah, I'm so happy to be here, while having a sad face, you won't believe me. And yeah, that's how we assess. So yeah, we're listening with our eyes. So here we have like 4 essential types of smile that we will end with. One, the closed lip smile, that is like hiding some information, and usually the information is negative. The person doesn't want to speak their mind because they have some negative thoughts that might hurt the other person. You can see the smirk, the contemptuous smile here, and this one is really dangerous, because although it might mean that the person is proud and is like an achiever and everything like that, the downside is that the person might be contemptuous or feeling superior, and somebody who's feeling superior will allow himself or herself to dominate and to lie sometimes to others when it comes to public speaking, or like if I am talking and getting this feedback from the audience, it means that I'm not doing a very good job. They might find my ideas as low-ended ideas or not interesting or something like that. If I am saying one thing and the people are like associating the ideas with me, they will be contemptuous towards me as an individual. So I won't be going far with my presentation because they won't be benefiting if they have this state of mind. So converting this contempt into respect by just first using humor, appropriate humor, of course, using like highlighting my ethos, my credibility. So okay, so this person knows what he's, because every one of us has this, yeah, I know something about this topic, and I will see if he's not a professional in this. And this is normal because we don't want to be given wrong information, and we need to be alert for any wrong information. The third type of smile is the forced smile. And as you can see, the lower part of the face is smiling and the upper part is not smiling. So there is a difference between the intensity of the smile between the lower part and the upper part. Whereas the genuine smile with Mr. George Clooney here, I will make his picture bigger. As you can see, the whole face is smiling with the eyes wrinkled around the eyes. We can see the lip corners are symmetrical and all the teeth are shown. It is like a full smile, and the eyes are a bit narrowed. Not narrowed in this sense, narrowed in this, like the orbicularis oculi, the muscle around the eye, around the eyes are really contracting, which is called the Duchenne smile. And yeah, doing the next exercise, we will trigger the Duchenne smile. And I will invite you right now to do this exercise of tapping on the muscle around the eyes like this, gentle tapping here, gentle tapping. It might go for like 2 minutes or so, but this tapping will make you more aware and will stimulate this this muscle. And when this muscle is stimulated, we are working outside in, from our face outside and into our psychological being. And now we will go to force a smile and we will see what will happen. So force a smile like this and see, and try to contract this muscle. Okay, and now try to release the smile. Okay, so as you can see, your face is like lifted like this, and your eyes are more smiling. With time, if you do this exercise for around like 10 minutes, you will be able to contract your orbicularis oculi in a better way. And eventually, when you smile, it will shine, your eyes will be shining. And this is the thing that you want in order to project the best first impression on your audience. So yeah, this is it. Thank you so much for your attention tonight and today, for your end. And if you have any other questions, I'd like to answer your questions.
I actually could feel it tighten. That was so bizarre.
Yeah, indeed, because the genuine smile is like tightening of all those muscles like here and getting the face lifted like this type. So yeah, I can feel it. You can put your hand here and all around the eye, and this is it's like a stimulating technique in order to make the orbicularis oculi like tightening and giving you the genuine happiness before presenting.
Oh, I love that. Well, I share exercises and stuff like that all the time with my clients, and that's not one that I have ever heard of. And I love that one because, I was talking about this with someone the other day. Sometimes we can't help that life happens, and you still have to put on a smile, so to speak. You have to put on that happy face and do things, and that knowing that technique, that would be very helpful at times to help someone that needs to go speak in front of a room of people, and help them to smile, and just by smiling, though, when you smile, it helps you to bring that state of happiness to you in that moment, and then your audience mirrors that back at you. So that's such a great exercise. I love that. I'm so happy you shared that with us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Smiling with our eyes as well as with our mouth will be beneficial. So we will be feeling genuine happiness in depth. Yeah.
Yeah, this is amazing. Wow. And I wish, I mean, I wrote down so much stuff. Lisa, Kirsten, do you have any questions? Because I know that I could probably ask 1,000 things, and I'll be here all day, but I'll let you ask questions.
Houston, do you have any questions? Because I did get to ask some questions before.
I do not. This is all just so interesting to me. I am not a public speaker. I'm pretty terrible at it. So I'm just amazed by all of this. I think, as you can tell, I need to stop talking instead of saying the ums, ahs, and uhs.
Kirsten, we all do it. I do it quite a lot. So
Yeah, well, and Kiki, the first day that we got together, you started with don't look at my original video because it sounds so different from this, but then you shared with us, and you were beautiful, you were magnificent, and no ahs, no ums, no anything. So I know you can do this, and you want to do this. And like I said, you already are crafting your stories, you're journaling, and you are a magnificent storyteller with your what you're doing with HelloFresh. So you have to tell stories about food and all of that different things. So you can tell a story. You just have to learn to relax and to be able to tell it in a different form. So you're going to do this.
I totally believe you. All that to say, no questions.
and Kiki, I second that, because you are magnificent. When you were just talking our last class about why you were here and what it is that you want to do, everything came out beautifully. I was attracted to your energy and what you were saying, and I wanted to know more. So just know that you have that in you. And I do have one question, and I know it's nearing time, but Jonathan, this may be a silly one, but are there any exercises or like possibly free sites that we can go to where we can work on identifying micro expressions and things like that? And I know that might be a little out of the scope of this course, but I find it absolutely fascinating.
Yes.
So I don't know if there are any tools out there for us to kind of hone in on those things, or even like the little exercises that you did when you had us look at that particular person and his speaking style. And so anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, when it comes to facial micro expressions, I recommend the work of Dr. Paul Ekman and his website, because like he provides a great tool. And yeah, when it comes to body language, I really appreciate the database that I collected over the years. And this is why I am like I have around more than 120 hours in training, private coaching sessions and programs, because it's so interesting, it's so profound. And yeah, it goes in personality profiling and why are people doing this sort of body language. And yeah, when it comes to body language, I really give people the right tools in order to for them to analyze people on a deeper level.
So we can find those tools on your site.
Actually, I don't have them on the site because I provide them, but I'll be happy to send you like some of them. So yeah, if anybody wants, I can share. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Wow. I wanted, if you don't mind, for you to go back a little bit to you were talking about ways to memorize. And I
Yeah.
think that's really something that I know is a little challenging for some people that I talk to. And I thought it was really interesting that you talked about the different body parts. I've went through an exercise where you can use different rooms in your home to compartmentalize and remember things with your story. So if you could maybe elaborate a little bit more about how you're using the body parts to memorize your story and maybe share a little bit more on that. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, sure. Let's say, and the example of Mr. Dan and Jaya. So imagine Mr. Dan and Mr. J, they are dancing on my head right now, and Mr. Dan is leading. So you will be laughing because of the ridiculousness of the story, but this is how memories are sticking into our brains. And this is why you remember a sad story, sad memory from your infancy or from when you were 10 years old. So, so this is how we remember. This is how our memory actually works, and it's not about having the perfect memory. It's about how we recall information. So this is the right way of storing information and the right way of recalling them. And yeah, if we want to remember like a name or a sentence, it's like we turn into picture and we do like a video clip, a mini clip with that. So let's say, give me a sentence so that we can do a brief example.
Oh, let's see. Hmm.
A brief sentence. I don't know why I'm having a hard time thinking of something.
Anything works.
Okay. The quick brown foxes jumped over the lazy dogs.
Okay, I should write that down.
Oh, I'll put it in the chat. And it's a silly sentence that has all of the letters of the English alphabet.
Okay.
Typography.
Yeah.
I think I might have been maybe I missed a word, but it doesn't matter. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, okay. Okay, so the quick brown foxes jumped over the lazy dogs. This is actually an easy sentence because we don't have to turn it into a picture because the pictures are already there. What you can do is imagine brown foxes, of course, and they are quick, but we want to like add something related to comedy, comical, like I am envisioning that like the speed limit on in a car on the fox, so that we know that the fox is high speed, he's quick, and the quick brown fox. So I'm imagining a brown fox, 2 or 3 brown foxes, and they are quick, and they jumped over the lazy dogs. So imagining the lazy dogs, 3 lazy dogs, and their tongues are just out of their mouths, and they are like stretching and maybe having their toys and some saliva getting out of their mouths, something related to comedy. And we are imagining those brown foxes jumping over those lazy dogs. So first, it's as if we are triggering or opening the scene with the brown foxes, the quick brown foxes jumping over those lazy dogs. So it's that it can be creative. You can go wherever you want with it, and they create the scene that you find suitable. And sometimes it should be like out of the ordinary. The more it is out of the ordinary, the more you will find it suitable and to stick in your memory. So yeah, I hope that was helpful.
Yes, definitely. That's wonderful. I can see why that makes it stick in your memory. I mean, anything that's funny or makes it more vivid or colorful, or definitely. So thank you very much.
Great.
Yes. Well, I know we're at our time, and I thank you so much, Jonathan. This has been amazing and wonderful and so informative. I just cannot thank you enough for sharing time and space with us today. And, I know that you have so much more to share. And if there is some information that they, want to learn more from you, where can they can go to your website? Can you share that with us?
Sure. They can go to humansdecoded.club, www.humansdecoded.club. They can connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or even Twitter. So I'll be happy to receive their questions and maybe have like an introductory session to help them individually with the challenges that they are having right now with their public speaking.
Wonderful. Thank you again so much, Jonathan, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Jonathan.